Back here on Birds 365. Look who joins us. He's out and about on the roads again. The traveling wonder that is Bob Grotz.
What do you got there, Bob? Are you doing product placements?
Yeah, I got time to put some deodorant on, don't I, guys?
Now, no, you did during the 3 minutes we were in commercial when we already had you punched up. So put the.
By the way, that looks like expensive stuff, Bob. That looks like
I don't think so. Yeah,
yeah, that looks like high. That doesn't look like dollar store.
Let me say though, it works.
All right, well, that's,
okay.
that's all that matters.
Not.
I'll have to ask John. Does it work for Grotz? Does it? When you got to sit next to him in the booth, do you notice?
Yeah, I've never noticed any issues with Bob Grotz.
Top dollar store will crater your armpits, guys.
Yeah. Ooh, you don't want to do that.
Not the dollar store, but the real cheap ones, you know.
Yeah, yeah. You want to get the good stuff. That's why I thought that looked like high-end department store stuff.
Yeah, actually,
that's one thing.
Yeah.
One thing and I can't believe we're discussing this. I've been a Brute spray guy.
Brute spray
since I've been 16 years old.
I didn't know they made that.
I've been loyal to my deodorant for 40 friggin' years.
Wow.
And I've never changed.
I go back and forth. I'm more of a Old Spice / Degree guy.
No, I've been Brute since I've been 16.
I bought into the Degree hype. It says it works for 48 hours. I don't think that's the case, but I bought
48 hours. Yeah.
You know who needs that? Product placement guy. What was it you had? Now that we're giving all these people free advertising, reach into your back.
That's true.
What did you have, Grotz? What was yours? We didn't see it close enough. You got to hold it up.
Oh.
Get back there into the back seat.
I think it was Brute.
He's finding money.
Spray.
What is that?
Yeah, that's high-end stuff. Yeah. That's high-end stuff.
I never go nowhere without my Davidoff.
Yeah.
Wow.
What are you getting? Russian deodorant? What are you on the black market?
No, it's Swiss. Swiss.
All right.
Swiss?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You're on the black market.
The one thing Bob Grotz is not neutral like Swiss.
No. I thought I was going to have to report you to Homeland Security. I thought, you're getting this stuff,
I'm already under surveillance with them. Jeez.
All right. Yeah. I saw an article you did in the Delco Times about gambling and sports betting in the NFL, and Nick Sirianni making a speech to the guys before they all scattered for the wind for the summer.
Don't be in the headlines.
Exactly. And sports wagering is just one of the ways you can get into the headline if you do it incorrectly or you do it in the wrong spot. Nick's pretty good at this stuff. He's very good at knowing how to work with guys, but not be a taskmaster, to kind of be a buddy, but when need be, listen, I'm the coach. This for you, and you have a better grasp on it than I do because you're down there talking to him. Does he handle this stuff well? The balancing act of being the disciplinarian as a coach, but also being the guy who the players like and want to say, yeah, I should listen to my bud, Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, he's a good communicator. He gets that message out there. And I know sometimes we laugh about, this the repetition with communicating, but he does a very good job of that. And I got to say this. All right. So no sooner does he make that speech about the directive. And I'm telling you, the NFL too, they can't do anything simple. I mean, listen to the Eagles talk about it. They were all over the place. I don't even know what the heck the rule is, like where
nobody knows.
Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So he did the best he could with that. So I'm driving on the turnpike heading towards State College. And what do I see on the billboard coming? June 23rd, Jordan Davis at some casino out there. And I almost wet myself. It was so funny. I'm thinking, my God, I wish I knew this before I wrote that story. So, but that doesn't mean it's illegal. I just don't know. The directive is ridiculous. It's just,
it's amazing how hypocritical the NFL has become. You remember a couple of years ago, Tony Romo, they shut Tony Romo down from, he was going to do a fantasy football convention. And they said, you can't do that. Fantasy football is gambling, blah, blah, blah. And now they want all the money to generate. But then the players, yeah, I mean, you're screwing guys. Detroit already, and that's an up and coming team.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley.
I think that
Calvin Ridley would have been here, by the way, if he didn't get suspended last year. I don't know. I feel sorry for the players here because it's not. Look, you can't bet in team facilities. But you can bet outside the building, but you can't bet on NFL games. You can't bet in team hotels on the road. This stuff seems very goofy to me, Bob.
Hey, I'm old school. I remember walking in those locker rooms and seeing the big ass sign on the wall. Do not associate, no gambling. Do not associate with gambling. And, after looking at that, you looked over your shoulder to see if anyone saw you reading it, because I'm telling you, they were strict as could be. But now, and by the way, that fantasy football, that Tony Romo, that thing he wanted to do, now they're making tons of money.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
So
they've come full circle. I mean, it just and I don't, I think it puts the players in a difficult position because, I mean, they're competitive to begin with. They're always saying my team is going to beat this team or that or the other thing, and now some of these teams have gambling facilities, not so much in the NFL.
In their stadium. Yeah,
exactly.
No, they're putting them.
They're right there. I met a Chickies and Pete's the other night. Well, not the other night, but a few months ago. The one out in Malvern, you can lay down I could lay down a bet if I wanted to during the break, But obviously
absolutely.
You don't do that. You don't.
And I hold the players a little bit more responsible, sounds like, than you two guys, because I don't think it's not that inundated as far as what you can and can't do. It seems pretty cut and dry to me. The only one I got a problem with is the fantasy stuff, because you're allowed to bet NFL fantasy, but only to a certain point. Like, you can't get into $1 million fantasy football league. But if you're just in a couple of $100 fantasy football league just for fun, but you got money on it, that you're allowed to do. Now, that I agree. That's stupid. That's completely unbelievably hypocritical. Either you can bet on football or you can't bet on football. That's where I would make that one hard and fast and include fantasy in it as well. But you can't bet in the facility. How stupid do you have to be? Just leave the facility, go out to your car. You got to have action. You got to put in a bed. Go out to your car. Get the hell out of the building. How hard is that for the player? The players can't comprehend that or understand that, Bob?
They're very young people, Jody. I mean, that you have to add
they
into
all went
that
to
as
college for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know where
you
they get their
in 3
information?
years figure out you can't bet in a building. Get out if you want to go bet. That's too much to ask.
You know where the guy who just left college gets his information? From the guy who just got into the NFL. That's the way it works. Yeah. And I don't think these guys are like going to libraries or I don't think they subscribe to newspaper news subscription services. I don't think they just listen to each other. They talk to each other. They get enough stuff to do. So, and I don't, by the way, I never liked the gambling thing. And I, you can't tell me that these are the only cases either.
No. Well, that's the other part of it.
Here. I mean,
this to me, my problem is, I get what you're saying, Jody. You should be able to do it. You should be able to say, all right, just don't do it here. Don't bet on the NFL. That should be it. Go bet on baseball, basketball, whatever you want to bet on. Or you're Jason Peters, don't bet on anything. But anyway, it seems like Jerry Jones scribbled this on the back of a cocktail napkin, 8 gin and tonics in. That's my problem. It's all over the place. It's haphazard. And if you really want to educate young people, say, hey, moron, you can't do this. At least give them a warning and say, I'm not going to take away a freaking half year or 6 games or a full year of a career, a very short career. Then if they do it again, all right, then I'm with you. But that first time, there's got to be a warning. There's got to be, all right, hey, dummy, you can't do this. Then after that, all right, all fair game. That's how I would handle it. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I like your I mean, if you're going to have gambling,
I'm holding the players to a higher standard. And I might be wrong to do so, but I'm giving them more credit than that they're braided, that they all got them. They all were educated. They all had to listen to the coach talk. A compliance guy came in and explained it to them, and they still did it. I'm sorry. You start at strike two. You tell them ahead of time, this is strike two. And if you make a mistake, it's going to be strike three. You're going to pay a price. I don't think that's being overly harsh to the players. Sorry. I hold them to a higher standard.
Well, the only reason I think it's different, the only reason I think it's different is because these things are so inundated in society now. And we grew up in a different time when these things didn't exist. It's their whole freaking lives. And you touch one button and you bet $2. And technically, say if you're an Eagle and you bet $2 on the Commanders to beat the Cowboys, oh, you're done for the year. I have a problem with that. But maybe it's me. Maybe I'm getting too liberal in my old age.
And maybe I'm tipping my hand here. It's not one button. It's several buttons. Nobody puts it.
I don't gamble.
There's no butt dialing a bet for the Commanders at $2 in on the play. No, you have to actually try and do it. You have to commit to betting that money, and shame on them if they do.
I mean,
that's an insult. I'm a champion butt dialer, and I can do it.
I've been butt dialed by Bob Grotz.
I rewrote the book on butt dialing, so but you can apologize some other time. Yeah,
it's too easy. It's my point, Jody. Though, all right, you have to hit a couple buttons, but you put out your phone, you get the app out, you say, all right. Again, we're talking about 22, 23-year-olds. There's veteran players as well. But we're talking about a lot of young players. To use Jameson Williams, second-year player, whatever he is, 22 years old.
That's a huge loss, yeah. Right.
You have it in your pocket. You have it in your phone. It's inundated with your whole life since you've grown up in this era, and it's second nature to you. I just think I think it's unfair. I really do. And many times I've been hardcore when they used to suspend people for marijuana. It used to drive me crazy when fans would say, the NFL doesn't care about domestic violence or insert some other horrible thing, but they care about weed smoking. I thought that's so stupid because it's collectively bargained. You got to fail like 4 tests before you even get to the first suspension. And like nobody knew that. So I was like hard line on that when it was like, these guys are idiots. They failed a bunch of different tests. They deserve it. I have no problem with that. But this stuff, I got a problem with. I really do. I think it's completely unfair to the players. But that's me.
Yeah, apparently, you and I have different standards. All right, John, Bob Grotz. When the Eagles get camp underway, we know they'll be doing minimal activities because they did minimal activities last year and they went to the Super Bowl and were tied with 10 seconds to go. Even less this year because it was successful. There's no way to deem it anything other but than successful. Are you guys going to mandatory time that you're going to get to watch practice? Is it going to be even less? Will the Eagles actually be doing more classroom stuff and less on-field activities because they had the success they had last year?
Well, they had a longer season because of the Super Bowl. So I wouldn't be surprised if the sports science people, backed them off just a little bit. But they have to take a look at guys, too. They got to figure out who's going to play where on that offensive line. And that's the biggest question to me on the whole team is who's going to be the right guard. I still, for the life of me, I don't think they have the answer right now. That's going to be an issue, I believe. And but yeah, I could see them doing just a little bit less. And because of what I said, because of the Super Bowl,
that's fair.
The OTAs, right. They spent a lot of time out there and they take all those pills too. What are those pills that measure your body heat and all this other stuff? God knows what they do, what these guys are taking, but it's all sports science. So they know exactly how many snaps they can give them. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened a little bit. We've had a pretty mild summer. I guess, are we in summer yet?
No, tomorrow. Tomorrow's the official beginning.
It's been pretty
summer.
mild, so you might see. They're going to have to find out some things, and Nick Sirianni will. I mean, in those 11-on-11s, I think those will be pretty much the same. Maybe the practices, maybe they're a little bit shorter. Younger guys going more, but they've been really smart about it, and they've been fortunate with the injuries, or maybe that cause and effect thing. They just earned that. Like from their diligence and their sports science. But like I was saying, I still, you guys were talking about 1 year players and stuff. I'm still wondering if there's like a guard out there that might be able to fit in there real quick. Maybe not.
You think they're gonna make a move for another body, huh?
Nah,
No,
and Jeff Stoutland, we trust, Bob. Come on,
yeah,
they
if
trust.
someone's gonna get cut, yeah. Well, I could see him bring some along, but do you really
There's
want to
Dalton Risner? How do you pronounce his name? He's still out there, but why is he
who
still
else
out
is
there?
out there? We mentioned his name, Jason Peters.
Jason.
I don't see that happening. Yeah,
But here's my thing, though.
I don't like the idea. I don't like their their alleged solution right now.
Which
but
one is more to you? Force feeding Steen or moving Beef Jerky over to right guard? Which are you referring to?
I don't like either of those right now.
Okay,
no.
you're 0 for 2, huh?
Yeah, I don't think either. If I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Juergens, but I don't think he's the right guy to play on the right side of Jason Kelce there.
Here's my only point with that. Even if Juergens can't do it and Steen can't do it, you can still go to Jack Driscoll.
Whereas, yeah, but he won't stay healthy though.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
You'll get a few games out of him, and so I hate to see that. The A gaps too. If you're going to get after Jalen Hurts and disrupt things, that's where you get them, right in the A gaps.
Yeah, you got to sugar the A gaps, Bob.
Ciamalo was really, really good. I mean, underrated. I'm still a little bit surprised that they didn't decide to do something, but they're paying Kelce a lot. They've invested in him, so they did what they had to do. And
now that's your biggest concern. That's a bigger concern than linebacker or safety.
Oh right, yeah, guard?
Really?
That offense is going to be scoring points. That's how they win games, and you got to protect the quarterback. You just extended them. You want to get these next 3-4. These are the years that you have your fingers crossed that he wins a Super Bowl. He's getting all that money, and I heard Jody talking about free agents before, and do they make them a priority in the coming what guys maybe the year after, what's going to be their plan in free agency. I see their plan in free agency as just re-signing guys that they like and drafting. I think
that's not re-signing guys are not free agents.
Yeah, right, and developing their own guys. I think that's what you're looking at for next season, maybe. And
that's always the hope. Goes. I mean, always the hope is you draft good players and you develop them and they turn into to really good players, but that's usually not the reality. You're going to miss on some guys.
We'll see about some of these Georgia guys this year, won't we? I mean,
yeah.
We'll
see.
I think they're banking on all the Georgia guys being hits.
Yeah,
and they're going to get a chance to play.
But we don't talk about that enough. But I brought that up last week. Georgia had 5 first-round picks on defense last year. None of them hit the ground running. None of them. You could argue Trayvon Walker was a good player. He's the number 1 overall pick, but he's the number 1 overall pick. The rest of them, as people know, I'm not going to call Jordan Davis a bust. Some people have. I thought he was playing well before he got hurt. I think he's going to be a good player. Devontae Wyatt, who is he? Quay Walker, Lewis Seen.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no guarantees for anybody.
Yeah, definitely not, and that'll be fun to see. And by the way, I said what I was saying, probably the number 1 weakness or the thing I want to see them take care of is that right guard position. That's a priority to me. I for the life of me, I still am trying to wrap my arms around this whole defensive coordinator thing with Sean Desai, and and having a guy looking over his shoulder who actually called the defensive plays, and worked at New England with Bill Belichick. I don't know how that's gonna,
Yeah, I brought that up yesterday.
How
And
is that
we
gonna
had
happen?
Zach on. We had Zach Berman on, Bob. And Zach kind of dismissed it. I look at it on both sides. Marcus Brady is sitting there for Brian Johnson. Marcus Brady's been an offensive coordinator. He's got experience. I don't know. That seems strange to me, the way they set up the coaching staff. I'm with you there. They have an extra layer of coaching staff that they didn't have last year. Why? Why is Marcus Brady there? Why is Matt Patricia there? That we have to get that question answered in training camp. Bob.
Yeah, well, I don't have any issue at all with Brian Johnson. In fact, I think I see the offense taking a step forward with him. There, I just
all I'm saying is they have a safety net, just
Yeah.
like they have a safety net on defense. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, right now it's more gut feeling with me, but I think those two are going to have just an unbelievable synergy. I think they think similarly. They both played quarterback, but I think you're going to see even more power, more explosiveness in this offense this year. I think they're going to what wraps were on Jalen Hurts last year are going to be. They're just going to take the wraps right off of them and what you're going to see is one of the most exciting Eagles offenses ever. I see Hurts and Brian Johnson really teeing it up this year. The defense, I'm still, I'm telling you, I know maybe Zach doesn't see, a problem with Patricia, like looking over the shoulder of Desai, but I see this turn into Patricia's defense maybe the first or the second month of the season. I swear to God. I think, yeah.
Whoa.
This is a time bomb.
All right. Well, time out, Philadelphia. Yeah. First things first. If you're out there and you got your phone and you got your sports betting app, if you're not an Eagle player, not in the facility with the Eagle, you can't do it. But anybody else who's not a Philadelphia Eagle player, feel free to bet Jalen Hurts for MVP because Grotz just told you the offense is going to be better this year. He was runner-up last year, and if he's going to get better, well, he's got to win the MVP. So go ahead and bet Jalen Hurts to win the MVP. Bob,
am I allowed to double down, or is that against the rules on this show?
You can do whatever the hell you want. Okay. You're in your car.
I'm doubling down on that.
Problems. You can do any wagering you want, Grotz. All right, here's the question I have for you. 2-part question. Budda Baker could be available out on the open market. What do you think the Philadelphia Eagles, how high a draft pick would they give up for Budda Baker? How high a draft pick would Bob Grotz give up for Budda Baker?
Oh, I would not give up I'd probably give up a third-day pick if I gave up anything at all. And I'd want him on a real, I guess you'd have to pick up the rest of his contract, right?
13 this year, 14 next year.
Yeah. No, I don't, you know what? I don't want him. I mean, he's got talent. He's smart, but they'll be able to find somebody to help him at a more cost efficient thing. And I really don't think he's the type of playmaker that some other people think. I don't think he's like your Arizona's had some great like Honey Bear, Tyrann Mathieu. He's not that guy. For a Tyrann Mathieu, I would do that. I would make a deal for him, but not for this guy.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not as big a Budda Baker fan as me and John. John and I both like the player a lot.
Yeah, not in the same class though. I mean, you're going to be able to. I think you're going to be okay without him, and that defensive line. If Jalen Carter, stays on the field and does what he can do, that'll be interesting too.
At Bob Grotz, make sure you follow Bob on Twitter. Does a tremendous job. The dean of the Eagles beat writers, as I like to call them, Delco Times. Read them there, delcotimes.com. I'll leave it here with you, Bob. And you said Sean Desai, some issues. Howie Roseman's getting his flowers this offseason, deservedly so. I think he's a top 5 GM. But boy, listening to you saying And I say it all the time, you know, at least 95% of the time, when a big name player becomes available, DeAndre Hopkins, I say no. Dalvin Cook, no. Hashtag no, I've said. No, 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 no. Do we get Howie too much credit at times? Because we're counting on Nicholas Morrow, Reed Blankenship, Terrell Edmonds, and saying, oh, they'll be fine. I don't know if they're going to be fine on the back end of that defense.
I think Terrell Edmonds is he's going to be a special teams guy. The Steelers.
Well, who the hell's going to start?
The Steelers would have done something with him. They'll figure something out. I don't think he's a starter. I know he's got some of that on his resume. Yeah, he's not. No. So you know,
Sidney Brown.
Maybe Keeley. Maybe Keeley will end up in a hybrid type of role. You know, maybe Avante Maddox will stay healthier. You know?
I'll remember.
Don't be moving Maddox around. Maddox is one of the best slot corners in the National Football League. Leave him. If he stays on the field, leave him on the field. Leave him at slot. Don't be moving him to safety.
I will agree. I'll agree with you though. The back end of that defense, they got to do some stuff there. That's why I don't know. I mean, to me, you know, you got a new defensive coordinator, and we all know that the Eagles didn't get any stops in the second half of that Super Bowl, and that's gonna be something that they got to prove that they can do, like stop somebody like every game. If that defense is porous again, you know, you're going to see a lot of a knee-jerk reaction from.
You can tell it's the offseason. You know, with Calais Ringo. I mean, yeah, he's the long-term heir apparent for Slay or Bradbury. You know, he's an out, and people are moving him to safety. I mean, I don't think 20-year-old kid. I mean, you can tell it's the offseason.
Look at his highlights. I mean, he kind of is. He's playing center field or left field or right field. I mean, I don't see him turning his hips and you know, going solo with some of these real.
Lewis Seen played.
He's a big guy.
Played safety at Georgia. Was an All-American safety at Georgia, and couldn't play a lick as a rookie before he got hurt. Just people pump the brakes on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm with Johnny Mac on that one. All right. Johnny Mac calls Bob Grotz the Dean. I call him the Prince of Darkness. I think we're both going to have to go to the Prince of Deodorant going forward.
Yeah.
Just a possibility. Yeah. Be tuned for Bob Grotz when he shows up. He's always entertaining. We thank him for doing so. We'll get you up in a couple of weeks, buddy.
See you, Bob.
That is Bob Grotz here.
It's on the black market getting that deodorant too, man. That's high class stuff.
Yeah, I can guarantee you I've never spent that on deodorant. Whatever he paid for that, I have never. I really am. I'm as boring as they come. Brute spray for 40 friggin' years. Since I was in high school. I started using Brute aerosol spray when I was in high school. Still do it today. All right, that's way too much deodorant talk. We'll come back. I don't think the show is stunk. But just in case, if we got to put some deodorant, we will as we put a bow on the show.